I am an absolute idiot. I watched The Batman last week and I deleted my notes. Not intentionally, but I had pages of digital notes. Usually I write notes down on paper, but occasionally I'll write them digitally and I deleted them. So part of me did think, will I go back and watch it and re-note it? But it's such a long film, which is one of the points that I know I did write down, that I'm not going to do that. So this is going to be more of a general how did I feel about the film rather than an in-depth analysis. There was a particular riddle that I absolutely loved, and I wrote it down, and I can't remember it. So I'll try and pussyfoot around that one and explain it without giving anything away. But yeah, this is definitely not going to be the in-depth analysis that I was hoping it would be, because I'm an idiot. Nevertheless, did I enjoy the Batman? More than I was expecting to. That's absolutely the case. I'm a big Batman fan, but I prefer Batman when it's a little bit more relaxed and a little bit fun. I feel like Tim Burton's Batman, not just because I'm a Tim Burton addict, but I feel like that speaks to me more, whereas Christopher Nolan's Batmans are a bit darker and grittier. And Matt Reeves' Batman, the Batman, I think takes that to the next level. And I did enjoy it, but it's a very different experience. Obviously, we have Robert Pattinson as Batman here, and now is a good time as any to say that I actually really thoroughly enjoyed his performance. That will never be my Batman, my favourite Batman, but I think he looked great. The costumes were great. I'm not sure who did the costumes, but I will check just now. But visually, I thought the character looked great. I really enjoyed his performance. I read some comments online that a lot of people, or at least some people, were saying that he was more it was more of a thriller film than a superhero film, and I can completely get that, but that worked for me personally. But I can understand where if some people have maybe not particularly enjoyed this version of Batman, I can understand why. Costumes were by David Crossman, Glenn Dillon, and Jacqueline Duran. They are credited on IMDb. As for the narrative, it's very intense. There's certainly a lot going on. It's about this, obviously, this killer who's murdering various political people in Gotham, and the Batman is taking it upon himself to investigate these riddles and try and work out what is going on. Did I fully understand everything? Enough to follow the narrative. I think it's one of those films that the more you watch it, the more you get out of it. But because it's ridiculously long, nearly 3 hours, I won't be watching it again in a hurry, to say the very least. But it is easy enough to follow. The riddles, I didn't get any of them. I'm not very good at riddles. But the one that I loved the most, I wish I could remember it, but there was one that I actually genuinely loved. And it's a play on bat. I can't remember. If you know which one I mean, please let me know. But I absolutely loved it. My favourite scene in the whole thing is inside the church. I think the first time, and it's just so powerful and so very well done. And there's a real sense of anxiety and a race against time. Unfortunately, the film itself doesn't always understand this race against time because there's a lot of padding. For example, the scene in the nightclub. I can't remember exactly when in the film it was because it's all a blur, but there's a scene in the nightclub in the first half of the film that seemed to last for about 15 minutes. I don't know if it did, but it felt like it was that long. And it really could have been truncated, even just removed, and you wouldn't have really lost much. And there were quite a few scenes in this where I just thought either you could have been shorter or we didn't need you at all, and it wouldn't have detracted from the narrative. It wouldn't have really made a difference. So I feel like it is unnecessarily long. There are some films where they deal with maybe epics or gritty historical narratives that actually benefit from the longer time frame. This didn't, and I felt like it was really badly edited at certain points. But when it was good, I enjoyed it. So it's not perfect. It's actually rated more highly than I would have expected. It's 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb across 641,000 reviews and ratings, which is a pretty phenomenal score. Metascore of 72. Honestly, I didn't love it that much, but I did think there were a lot of good things about it. I thought the riddles were very good. I think it's very well shot. It's very atmospheric. Robert Pattinson was very good. The costume design was really good. It's never going to be my favourite. It seems to have a mixed response. It seems like a lot of people really love it, but a lot of people are just not happy with it at all. So I'd love to know what you think of it. I wish I had my notes. I'm sure there were a few other things that I'd noted down as being, particularly interesting, or things that I thought didn't work very well. Unfortunately, I have lost those. They are gone forever. The Batman is never, ever going to be my favourite version of Batman, but I have to say, despite the ridiculous length, it really wasn't bad at all.